Last year, about this time, I was at a crossroads. I was trying to decide if I should start my own business or go back to the corporate world. And like many of us do when decisions feel big, I was tuned into everything. I was hyper tuned in. I was reading meaning into so many things. And around that same time, I went on a yoga retreat. Now, I need to give you some context about me and my yoga. I have been practicing for decades. My gaming handle is literally Yoga Warrior Double Crank. Yoga is home for me. I yearn for it. So, this was an especially important time to go on this yoga retreat. And even though I had heard the messages time and time again, this time, because I was so hyper tuned in, they landed differently. The yoga teacher said, "Are you centered? Are you flexible? Are you returning to what's comfortable? What makes you feel powerful?" Now, because I had really wanted to listen to these to make my decision about my business, I did. And I was opened up in a way I had never been before. I went to a lot of different yoga classes and started scribbling down all of these sentences that brought meaning to me. And I had a new lens to start to make my decisions. Around this same time, I got news that stopped me cold. I found out I have a rare gene mutation called BRCA2. Now, BRCA2 gives me a 55 to a 69% likelihood that I'll have breast cancer in my lifetime. I heard the doctor's words: a preventative double mastectomy is the most effective way to reduce your risk. Whew. There are other things that I could do. I could go for frequent visits, and as soon as they find cancer, you fight it. But for me, that felt so anxiety-inducing and stressful. I actually knew immediately that that was not going to be my choice. I would get the double mastectomy. But the question that I was holding and really grappling with was, should I get the reconstruction? So if I didn't, I just wouldn't have breasts anymore. If I did, it's a cut from hip to hip for the one that I would choose, and fat taken from my abdomen, and then they create new breasts for you. It's a 12-hour surgery. It is pretty grueling. I would likely have to gain weight for that surgery. I definitely wouldn't be able to practice yoga for months, maybe even a year. It was a big choice to make. So I returned to my questions. Are you centered? Are you flexible? Are you returning to what's comfortable? What makes you feel powerful? That last question really got me. What makes you feel powerful? Now, everyone making this choice, it will be valid. There's no wrong choice you can make here. But for me, powerful means releasing what's no longer needed. For me, powerful was choosing the option that keeps me healthy and strong. Powerful for me is honoring how this body has served me, and being brave enough to step into what comes next. I will decline reconstruction. As you can tell, this process took me through something hugely personal, and I was able to make a decision. So I wanted to share it with everybody, and I did. I rushed out with my clients and my colleagues and my friends, And I said, I have this great book of questions, you gotta try it. And I gave them all my yoga questions, and they did not light up. Nothing happened, actually. They didn't lean in, I was just like really trying. And so I stopped asking my questions, and instead I asked them what they love to do. Take a second and think about what is that you love to do. And they told me about all sorts of things. I heard about gardening and billiards and surfing and skiing, everything, you name it. And for every single one of them, I went and created their own little book of questions based on the activity that they loved. And that is when I saw the spark. That's when I saw the joy that I had about the yoga questions. The magician's questions were nothing like mine. His were, did I create hope? What appeared? Was there a distraction? He told me he's been practicing magic and distraction since he was 7 years old, and he is now 60. And that question for him gave him the permission to ask, what the heck is distracting me? He's writing a book now, and he is working intently on keeping distraction out of his life. I have another client who is loving surfing, and his questions were, where are the waves breaking? What kind of wax do I need? Am I paddling too hard? He was paddling too hard. He was stressed and anxious, burning the candle at both ends. And I'll tell you what, his team and his projects took the brunt of it. They were actually moving more slowly. So he learned to paddle with more precise, deliberate strokes, and his team and his projects improved. Now, I study people and motivation for a living, so it matters to me that you understand why this works. You may have heard about making decisions based on your values. It's called value-based decision-making. And when we do this, we find that we have mental clarity, resilience, strength. It works. But why don't we do it? We don't. We get busy. We get busy running in our lives, and we default to habit when we make decisions. What I'm suggesting is this. That thing that you love to do, that thing that you return to time and time again, you do that because your values are already embedded there, hidden in the joy and waiting to be named. Let's try this together. Let's think about that thing that you love personally, so you can get the framework and use this. I want people to use this. Let's say you're a painter, and I ask, what is it that you love about painting? And you say, because it helps me to be creative. Finding your why is one level deeper. So you might ask, do I have permission to be curious? Can I explore? What is it that really serves the craving for you in that activity? Because naming the craving is the thing that will help you define your why. And the why will help you to create the question. Once you have those questions, you can use them as a springboard. You can find that new lens, that meaningful, value-based lens to make your decisions. Because what you return to can send you hidden signals about where you want to go if you listen.